Have you ever, been in a conversation or maybe just scrolling online and you get that weird feeling, that subtle sense someone's trying to steer your decisions, or maybe even make you doubt what you actually think or saw. It's something I think a lot of us feel, trying to navigate all the influences out there and make choices that are genuinely, ours.
Yeah, absolutely.
So today we're doing a deep dive into this whole world of manipulation. It can feel a bit hidden sometimes, but more importantly, we want to arm you with something powerful, something ancient Stoicism as a kind of shield.
A very effective one.
Exactly. Our mission is pretty clear. Let's unpack some common manipulation tactics, but then crucially explore real practical lessons from Stoicism so you can resist these things and, boost your own autonomy.
And self-awareness is going to be key here.
Definitely. Recognizing it when it happens, that's the starting point.
Right. And what's really striking is that manipulation, it's not just someone being difficult or annoying. It's often a calculated psychological tactic.
Yeah.
Designed to influence or control people, often for personal gain, and sometimes so subtly you barely notice. We've probably all encountered things like guilt tripping.
Oh, yeah.
Where someone makes you feel responsible for their feelings. Or gaslighting. That's a nasty one.
It really is.
Distorting reality to make you question your own perceptions, your sanity even. Understanding the specific tactics, that's really the vital first step towards getting your power back and having healthier interactions.
Okay.
And that's exactly where Stoicism comes in. It's this ancient way of thinking that teaches us to focus on what we can control, our responses, and accept what we can't. It's remarkably useful for staying clear and composed.
So we mentioned guilt tripping and gaslighting. Can we maybe unpack those a little more? It's one thing to know the word, another to see how it actually operates in day-to-day life.
Yeah, good point. So guilt tripping, like we touched on, it's not just making someone feel bad, it's specifically making you feel responsible for how the manipulator feels.
Shifting the burden.
Yeah, exactly. They shift their emotional burden onto you. And gaslighting, well, that's really about messing with your head. It's systematic, designed to wear down your trust in your own judgment.
So you start doubting yourself.
Completely. Doubting your memory, your perceptions, sometimes to the point where you actually start thinking their twisted version of things might be right. It's incredibly disorienting.
And you see this everywhere, don't you? Like in personal relationships, maybe that friend who always uses emotional blackmail, lays on the guilt to get you to change your plans.
Classic.
Or a partner who just dismisses your feelings. Oh, you're too sensitive. You're imagining things, basically to stay in control.
Right, undermining your reality.
And it's not just personal stuff. Think about the media, too. Headlines designed to provoke outrage, or maybe information presented in a really misleading way. It's meant to bypass your thinking brain and just hit an emotional nerve.
Absolutely. It aims to sway you without you even realizing you're being persuaded based on emotion, not facts.
These examples, they really show why spotting these patterns is so important, in the moment.
It is. That's how you start taking back control, really. Setting yourself up for healthier relationships, healthier interactions, whether it's at home, work, or just how you consume news.
Okay, so we've painted a picture of manipulation, and honestly, it can feel a bit bleak, like you're constantly on guard. But you mentioned Stoicism as a shield. How does this ancient philosophy, develop thousands of years ago, how does it actually help against something so modern and, insidious like gaslighting?
That's the crucial question, isn't it? At its heart, Stoicism is about making a clear distinction. What's inside your head, your thoughts, your judgments, your reactions, versus what's outside events, other people's opinions, things that happen to you.
Okay.
Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, he was actually enslaved for part of his life, and he famously said something like, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters.
Powerful.
And that's not just some nice quote, it's your main defense. When someone tries to push your buttons emotionally, Stoicism gives you that tool to pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, okay, wait, is this my genuine feeling, or is this person trying to make me feel this way?
That pause.
That pause is everything. That's where your autonomy kicks in.
So it's less about just gritting your teeth and enduring it, and more about finding this kind of inner calm.
Like an anchor.
Exactly like an anchor. So instead of that knee-jerk reaction when someone tries a subtle manipulation, you actually get to choose how you respond. Can you give us a small, maybe everyday example of how that pause might work for someone listening?
Sure. Let's say a colleague makes a subtly undermining comment, designed to make you feel a bit insecure about your work.
Okay. Happens all the time.
Right. So the non-Stoic reaction might be instant anger or defensive or maybe just shrinking inward, feeling bad.
But with a Stoic mindset, you first recognize, okay, that comment, that's an external event. It's their opinion, maybe even their attempt to manipulate. What's in my control is how I react.
Right.
So you pause.
Yeah.
You acknowledge it for what it is, just words, their perspective.
Right.
And then you choose. Maybe ignore it. Maybe respond calmly. Point out the inaccuracy. Maybe address it later. But you're not just lashing out or crumbling.
You're responding, not reacting.
Exactly. It helps detach your sense of self-worth from what other people say or do, right? And helps you stick to your values instead of getting pushed around. It fundamentally changes how you make decisions.
It really does. It helps you resist that manipulative pull.
It sounds like building this really solid inner core. Imagine going into any situation, any relationship, knowing you've got that confidence that your integrity isn't easily shaken. That's not just feeling good. That's building a life that's really yours.
That's the goal. Authenticity and resilience.
Okay, so if we're building this Stoic shield, metaphorically speaking, piece by piece, where do we start? Like, what's the absolute first, most fundamental thing?
The bedrock, really, is recognizing what you can control versus what you cannot. This distinction is everything in Stoicism.
Okay.
So within your control, your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, your reactions, how you choose to respond.
Right. The internal stuff.
Exactly. Beyond your influence. Pretty much everything else. Other people's opinions, their actions, external events, the weather, traffic, you name it.
So to help people really get a grip on this, the source material suggests a really practical exercise. It's simple, but quite revealing. Take a moment, maybe grab a piece of paper and list situations that are currently causing you stress or anxiety.
Get them out of your head.
Yeah. Then go through that list and sort each item into 2 columns. Things I can control and things I cannot control.
And just doing that act, it brings such clarity, doesn't it?
Instantly.
It shifts your focus. You stop wasting energy trying to wrestle with things you fundamentally cannot change, like someone else's bad mood.
Right.
And instead, you channel that energy into what you can influence, your response, your attitude, your next action. That's where your power lies. It seriously reduces the hold manipulation can have and builds that resilient mindset we're talking about.
Okay, so once you've got that clarity, this is in my control, this isn't, what's the next layer, the next tool in our Stoic toolkit. It seems like mastering your own mind is key.
Absolutely. And for that, we look to mindfulness.
Mindfulness, we hear that word a lot.
We do, and sometimes it sounds a bit vague, but in this context, it's incredibly practical. It's about cultivating a heightened self-awareness, really anchoring yourself in the present moment.
How does that help with manipulation specifically?
Well, when you're grounded and aware of your own internal state, your thoughts, your feelings as they happen, it's much easier to notice when something external, like someone's words or actions, starts to unduly affect you. You spot the manipulation attempt quicker because you're tuned in.
So you're less likely to be swept away by it.
Precisely. You become more of an observer of your own experience rather than just being caught up in the reaction.
And are there specific ways to practice this? Techniques?
Yeah, definitely. Meditation is a core one. Doesn't have to be long. Just a few minutes each day, focusing on your breath, noticing thoughts come and go without judging them, just observing.
Okay.
Another really powerful tool is journaling. Taking time to reflect on your day, your interactions, how you felt, why you reacted certain ways. It helps clarify your responses to external pressures, and you might start seeing patterns, perhaps manipulative ones you hadn't noticed before.
So it's about making conscious choices instead of just reacting.
That's the essence of it. Mindfulness helps you move from that reactive, almost automatic state to a more deliberate, conscious way of responding.
Yeah.
And that makes you far less vulnerable to manipulation day to day.
It's amazing how much our internal world, our assumptions, dictate how we experience things. Which I guess brings up a really important question. How much of what we believe about ourselves, about others, about how things should be, is actually accurate? And how much is just stuff we've absorbed without questioning?
That is such a vital point. Critically evaluating your own underlying beliefs and assumptions is, well, crucial, especially because some of those assumptions might have been subtly planted or reinforced by sources that don't exactly have your best interests at heart.
Like what kind of assumptions?
Well, think about a common one, maybe an unconscious one. The assumption that everyone is basically trustworthy.
Right. We want to believe that.
We do. But operating purely on that assumption can leave you wide open to manipulation, can it? It's wiser, from a Stoic perspective, to approach interactions with discernment. Seek different viewpoints on a situation, maybe talk things through with trusted, objective people to challenge your initial take.
Okay, that makes sense. Any others?
Another big one, especially in our culture, is the belief that success equals happiness, or a specific kind of success equals happiness, like career status or material wealth.
Yeah, that pressure is huge.
Huge. And it can make you vulnerable to pressures from family, society, media, pushing you towards choices that don't actually align with your real values. Questioning that assumption, does this definition of success truly make me happy, protects your autonomy.
So by actively questioning these deep-seated assumptions, you're essentially reclaiming your decision-making power.
Exactly. You're making sure your choices are informed and truly your own, not just echoes of external influences. It builds that resilient, self-directed mindset we keep coming back to.
Okay, so this talk about assumptions, influences, protecting our autonomy, it leads naturally into our relationships with others, right? Which brings us to the next really crucial Stoic lesson, setting boundaries.
Absolutely essential. Boundaries are basically the lines you draw that define acceptable behavior in your interactions with others. They act as a vital shield, specifically against emotional manipulation.
A shield, I like that.
They are. They're fundamental for maintaining your personal space, your emotional well-being, and your autonomy. They stop others from overstepping.
But setting them, that can be the hard part. How do you actually communicate boundaries effectively? It feels awkward sometimes.
It can be, especially at first. The key is to be direct, clear, and assertive, which is different from being aggressive.
Okay, assertive, not aggressive.
Got it. And using I statements is really helpful. Instead of saying, you're making me uncomfortable, which can sound accusatory, try, I feel uncomfortable when, or I need some space right now, or I'm not willing to discuss that.
So focusing on your own feeling or need.
Exactly. And here's something really important to remember. No is a complete sentence.
Well, yes. Good reminder.
You often don't need to provide a long explanation or justification. A simple, clear no or I can't do that is sufficient. Practicing that can be incredibly empowering.
It feels like it's not just about stopping manipulation, but also about self-respect.
It absolutely is. It's about respecting your own needs and limits. And ultimately, clear boundaries lead to healthier, more respectful relationships. Because expectations are clear, people know where they stand with you.
All right, moving through these Stoic tools. Our fifth lesson tackles a skill that's just vital for navigating pretty much everything in life, but especially potential manipulation. We're talking about emotional intelligence.
Yes, emotional intelligence, or EQ. It's not just about being nice or good with people. In this context, it's a critical defense mechanism. You can break it down into roughly 4 key parts.
Okay, let's hear them.
First, self-awareness. Really knowing your own emotions and, crucially, your triggers. What pushes your buttons. Manipulators often target vulnerability, so knowing yours is the first step to protecting them.
Makes sense. What's next?
Second, self-regulation. This is about managing your impulses and responses. A manipulator often wants you to react emotionally, impulsively. Self-regulation lets you pause, manage that initial surge of feeling, and choose a more considered response. Or maybe no response at all.
Taking back control of the reaction again.
Exactly. Third is empathy. Understanding how others might be feeling. But, and this is key when thinking about manipulation, it also involves trying to discern their motives. Are they genuinely expressing an emotion, or are they perhaps performing emotion to get a reaction from you?
Ah, that's a subtle but important distinction.
Very. And finally, social skills. This includes effective communication, negotiation, and importantly, the ability to assert those boundaries we just talked about clearly and respectfully.
So these are great concepts. How can someone listening actually work on boosting their emotional awareness day to day? Any practical tips?
Definitely. Journaling, again, is fantastic for this. Reflecting daily on your emotions, what triggered them, how you responded. It helps you map your own emotional landscape.
Okay.
Another powerful practice is active listening. When you're talking with someone, really focus on understanding their perspective, not just waiting for your turn to talk. Listen to their words, their tone, their body language. It helps you pick up on inconsistencies or potential hidden agendas.
So greater awareness all around.
Precisely. This heightened awareness is key. It helps you spot when someone might be trying to exploit your emotions, and it empowers you to respond thoughtfully from a place of clarity instead of just reacting on impulse. It builds resilience.
Okay, finally, our last Stoic lesson. This one feels like it underpins all the others, maybe. It's about the continuous journey of seeking knowledge and wisdom.
Yes, exactly. This isn't a one-time fix, it's an ongoing commitment. Staying informed isn't just about, news headlines. It's about understanding psychology, how influence works, human behavior, and philosophical frameworks like Stoicism itself.
How does that directly help against manipulation?
Well, the more you understand the tactics manipulators use, things like persuasion techniques, logical fallacies, emotional appeals, the better equipped you are to recognize them when they're directed at you. Knowledge is power in this sense. It helps you see the strings before they're pulled.
Are there resources you'd recommend for people who want to learn more?
Sure. We mentioned Stoicism. A great accessible book on applying its principles is The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday.
Okay, good one.
And if you want to understand the mechanics of influence and persuasion, Robert Cialdini's book Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, is considered a classic. It really breaks down how these tactics work.
Right, understanding the other side, so to speak.
Exactly. And beyond reading, engaging in discussions with others is incredibly valuable. Talking about these ideas, sharing experiences, challenging each other's perspectives, it deepens understanding and builds a kind of supportive community that values critical thinking.
Learning together reinforces it.
Absolutely. It helps solidify your own understanding and builds a stronger collective defense against subtle manipulation.
So the big picture benefit here is pretty clear. Constantly learning, constantly seeking wisdom. It just equips you to navigate life, especially relationships, with much more clarity, confidence, and less risk of being manipulated. Okay, so let's just quickly recap what we've covered in this deep dive. We looked at these really powerful Stoic lessons to help you resist manipulation and really boost your personal autonomy. We talked of recognizing what you can actually control, that core distinction.
Foundational.
The importance of practicing mindfulness to stay grounded and aware. The need to question your own assumptions critically.
So important.
The strength that comes from setting clear, firm boundaries. Developing that crucial skill of emotional intelligence, understanding yourself and others. And finally, this ongoing pursuit of knowledge and wisdom. And the common thread, really, the thing tying it all together, seems to be self-awareness. This seems absolutely vital for navigating relationships and making choices that are truly yours.
It really is. And if we pull back, look at the bigger picture. This isn't just about dodging manipulation, though that's obviously valuable. It's really about empowering yourself to lead a more fulfilling life, period. By consciously choosing to prioritize your well-being, your values, your authentic self. What's truly fascinating, I think, is that when you embrace these principles, you don't just become resilient against manipulation. You actually start actively shaping yourself into someone who is more intentional, more self-aware, more self-directed in everything you do.
So it's a positive transformation, not just a defense.
Exactly. The real power isn't just in being able to say no to someone trying to control you. It's in having the clarity and confidence to say a firm yes to yourself and to the kind of life you genuinely want to build. On your own terms.
That's a great way to put it.
So maybe something for you listening to consider. How could applying even one of these principles starting today maybe shift one interaction or just enhance your sense of your own autonomy? Even a small step can make a big difference.